Hi everyone, I'm Rosie and this is Flying Flusky. And we can you and me together. And we can you and me forever. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Lovely to have you. And if you are new, my name is Rosie and I'm currently on a weight loss journey using the tirzepatide known here in the UK for weight loss as Mounjaro. In the US, you might know it as Zepbound, specifically for weight loss, or Mounjaro if you're using it as a diabetic medication. It's the 25th of July, which means it's the end of week 14 for me. I did actually jab a day late this week, and I'll tell you why when we get onto that. But first, let's talk about if I've had any side effects and how I'm feeling. I haven't really had a lot to say about side effects for a while, but actually, there are a couple of things that have come up recently that I think are worth having a quick chat about. The first is my mood, or lethargy, maybe. I'm really struggling to kind of kick myself up the bum to do anything. So I've been like doom scrolling and staring into space and just really, really not wanting to get up and do anything, go out the house. There's been some social things and like content creation things that I've really struggled with. And it's a weird feeling. It's not something I'm used to. Yeah, obviously we all have like sofa days or whatever, but the other day I was in bed and then I got up for a bit, ate lunch, sat on the sofa, and then went back to bed, and it was about all I could manage. And yeah, that's not something that I've ever dealt with, I wouldn't say. So that's been a bit of a bummer. I'm not sure how to counteract that really. I'm not sure if it's just because I'm tired or if the GLP-1 is obviously it does something to your dopamine receptors and just the rewards receptors in your brain. So I don't know if it's kind of dulling my enjoyment or joy. I don't know. The other thing, which I think has been playing on my mood, is I have kind of a double think thing going on where I'm living in these two different realities. I have clearly lost weight. My clothes fit differently. I'm in a whole different set of dresses than when I started. But I still feel quite chubby. And I know I still have a way to go. So that's kind of playing on my mind. A lot of people have noticed and have commented, especially at work. I have reduced the size of my uniform, and so it's obviously noticeable. And sometimes I can see it, and sometimes I can't. I still have a fat belly, I still have quite chunky thighs. You know, there's work to be done, but then occasionally I'll catch myself and I'll be like, oh yeah, I look all right. It's weird, and I think it's messing with my brain a bit. It's hard not to compare yourself to other people and pick yourself apart. We've just decided that we're going to go to Bali at the end of summer, and I've been watching all these reels and TikToks and stuff about Bali, trying to get hints and tips. And there are some gorgeous people there. Some real gym bunnies, obviously like high level influencers. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll be thinner, but I'm still gonna compare myself to other people, which is stupid, but I can't help it. And I think all these little weight related things are playing on my mind all the time. I'm impatient. Like I'm really impatient. Time is going very quickly. I know it's 14 weeks has flown by, but let's get to 30 weeks or whatever it is where I can kind of relax about it. I don't know. It's not stressful. It's not hard work. See, dual think all the time. The other thing is I've definitely hit the mark where my hair is starting to fall out. That's been in the last 3 or 4 days, like a marked increase in the amount of hair in my brush and when I've been in the shower and just in general. It happens with every diet, I do know that. So I'm not like, oh, Mounjaro and hair loss. It happened when I did intermittent fasting and Couch to 10K as well. So I was kind of expecting it. I've been taking biotin and multivitamins, so hopefully it won't be as extreme as it could be, and the regrowth will be strong and quick. But I'm ready for a lot of baby flyaways for the next few months. It might sound vain, but it is something that will happen, and it will happen to people. So if you don't know it's coming, and it's usually around 3 months into any kind of weight loss journey. So all you can do is take your vitamins and hope for the best. Just to clarify, the hair does grow back. Obviously, this is something your hair will do naturally anyway, but it just kind of, the shock to your system means that lots of your hair will have the same idea at the same time to shed and regrow, in as opposed to like the more varied cycles of each follicle. If it is happening to you, don't panic. Your hair is coming back. It's just going to be a little thinner for a while. Don't put any unnecessary strain on it. I have to put my hair up in a bun or something like a bun for work, which is not ideal, but I'm going to try and make it a bit looser. I went to a wedding yesterday, which is why my hair is curly, but I am going to try and use heat styling less. On the Friday of week 13, we went to a friend's barbecue, which was amazing. But there was a weird thing that happened. We were offered a chicken skewer to start, and Carl said, "Oh, we'll share it." But I don't think he realized that that meant that I then didn't get a plate or offered any more food, because everyone thought that we were sharing. And so he only gave me like morsels of his food. And I left and I was like, I am hungry. I think I had like 6 bites of some things, chicken and halloumi and bits and bobs. But yeah, I left really hungry. But then the next day, I was throwing up, like I'd eaten and drunk loads. I felt awful, but I had to go to work. And I was like, okay, I think this is a slightly worse reaction to the medication than normal, maybe, because 2 drinks and 6 bites of food really shouldn't have done that. And I'd taken some like elderflower press, the sparkling elderflower, to like half the strength of my drinks, to to make sure I wasn't drinking too much. So I'm not sure what all that was about, but lesson for the future: don't let Carl say we're going to share. Just eat what I want and then give him the rest. So week 13 was when I really started to notice the mood shift. And it was because I went to a kind of like a travel conference thing in East London. And it was a nightmare journey. It took an extra hour to get there. And I arrived a bit flustery and a bit stressed. But normally, you get there, you have a chat with someone that you recognize, and then you feel better. But this time I walked in, it was quite noisy. A lot of people were in there, and I was just like, whoa, this is overwhelming. And that is so not how I normally am. So I had a few meetings, and then it was lunchtime, and I was just looking around, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still feeling very overstimulated and very overwhelmed. So I went out for a walk instead. And I walked myself down to the canal, and there was a little bit of sunshine coming through. So I just sat and had a moment listening to a podcast and kind of regrouping. But again, after all my official meetings were over, I stayed for a drink with people, and then I was like, I gotta get out of here, especially because I wanted to be on the tube before rush hour, because it felt really intense. That was a new and odd feeling. And that day is when it really hit me that something was different. I did my jab just before going to the opera, because I knew it takes a little while for any symptoms to appear for me. So I'll do it now, I'll go to the opera, and then I'll go to bed, and hopefully any symptoms will be overnight. Welcome back to the bathroom, and I am on dose 3 of my 5 milligram pen. I never know if it focuses or not until later, but that's where we're at. I'm off to the opera later to see La Traviata because my friend's in it. And earlier we were talking and I got it confused with La Boheme. And then I got all the cravings. So I'm currently listening, there it is, to Musetta's Waltz from La Boheme. Musetta is like OG diva. Whee! I do prefer it when it goes. I'm working my way around the belly button clock, and today I guess I'm at 11 o'clock to the top right of my belly button. Prepping the pen is getting faster and faster, which makes I always get to this point and feel like I've missed a step, but I really haven't. I'm just, always procrastinating, I think. It is 3:15 and I've been slightly putting this off for the last 4 hours or so, I would say. So yeah, really got to get onto the jab now. Okay, that one didn't hurt, but I realized by the end of it, I was like pushing it into my tummy. So I've got to make sure I don't do that. Let's head back to next week and the sofa. Week 15 began with a couple of busy and reasonably stressful days at work. And then on Sunday was that day where I didn't make it past the sofa. The bed and the sofa were my companions for the day, and I was a little concerned about how I was feeling, but as I said, I think I was just really tired. I'm not sure. I definitely have more productive days the next couple of days, getting some YouTube videos edited and a little bit of Instagram done. So that was successful, I think. Then yesterday was Thursday, which is my normal injection day, but I decided to wait until this morning because we went to a wedding yesterday. And I do get quite tired like later in the day or the day after when I do my injection. And I really didn't want to fall asleep at my friend's wedding. So it was a really lovely ceremony in a place I'd never even heard of called Abney Park Cemetery. It's an old Victorian cemetery. So it's got these beautiful sarcophagi and obelisks and, all that really lavish stuff. It's a bit like Highgate Cemetery, but it's no longer used as a cemetery and it's free to get into. So it's really worth a visit. And they have a chapel right in the middle of the cemetery, which was renovated only a couple of years ago, and it's just beautiful, like all wood and brick, and yeah, it was lovely, and it was so nice to see her get married. When we got to the reception venue, there was a glass of prosecco to start, and then they brought round appetizers. So I had 2 slices of mini beef Wellington, got to get that protein in, and they were delicious. And then 2 things of this much octopus with a little cube of potato underneath. So that was my cocktail hour. Then we bought a second drink to sit down at the dinner table with. I had a heritage tomato salad to start with a bit of stracciatella on the side, which was beautiful. But I was already starting to feel reasonably full. So I had maybe 75% of that. Carl had a butternut squash risotto, but I knew obviously that was going to be way too heavy when we were going through the menu options. So I had ordered chicken with potatoes and veggies. And I had as much chicken as I could have. Again, protein. And then just some of the veggies and a couple of the bits of potato. And then our desserts were strawberry millefeuille. Very delicious, but I could only manage about a third and then had to donate the rest. But I had more than a third of the strawberries. I stuck to Diet Coke for the rest of the day because I thought 2 drinks was probably enough. And it did do funny things the other day. So I decided to stop. But I was wiped out and we left about 9:30. I was just exhausted. Luckily the wedding was in London, so it took us like an hour and 10 or something to get home, and then crashed out when we got home. We're back in the bathroom, and today I am listening to I Think Not, which is a true crime podcast presented by Broadway kids who then also talk about Broadway. So it's all of my favorite things. We are I don't know what dose this is now on 5. I have lost track. I'm sure I'll figure it out going through the video, but right now, no idea. So I'm just cleaning the seal before popping the cap on with the needle in. Let me know if you want me to do like a proper injection video. You will have to see my tummy, but if you would find it useful, let me know. Whee! Today I'm going in at like 9 o'clock around my belly button. Sit down, or I'm trying to be brave and stand up. Nope, I'm gonna sit down. All right, so I got this out of the fridge about half an hour ago, and the needle stung a bit going in, but then it was fine. I think that was the last injection on this pen, so I think next week will be another golden dose attempt. I do have my next one coming today, actually, from Juniper. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're good to go with the next one. For now, this is going back in the fridge. And so to the part of the video that I know probably a lot of people skip to, it's time for the weigh-in. I set myself the goal to get below 140 pounds or 10 stone because I wanted to see that 9 on the scales, and I definitely jinxed myself. It's my fault. I had never set a weight goal before, and obviously the universe doesn't like it. So at the end of week 13, I weighed in at 10 stone, which is 140 pounds or 63.5 kilograms. So that means I lost a whopping 1 pound that week. So, okay, universe, we won't do that again. Then at the end of week 14, I weighed in at 137 pounds, 9 stone 11, or 62.1 kilograms. Phew! So it took 2 weeks, but I did get below that 10 stone mark. I like that this means that it was under 140 pounds and under 10 stone, because that's nice and round for both us and the Americans. Sorry, Europeans, you'll have to wait till I can get under the 60 kilograms. It also means that I have officially lost 3 stone, and that feels incredible. Like, when people have asked how much I've lost at work and things, I can be like, 3 stone. So I'm dead chuffed. If you don't know what chuffed means, it means very pleased. Goals for weeks 15 and 16. I have done a little bit of exercise, but nowhere near enough. So let's once again make that a goal. I'm hoping to get myself and Carl back into the idea of going back onto the Couch to 10K program. I mean, we haven't done it for 2 months, maybe. I haven't got any fitter in that time, but I have got lighter, so it might be a little easier. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, especially now it's not boiling hot. I think the idea of going for a run is a little more tempting. I also want to focus a little on nutrition, and not in terms of every day, because I'm still using the Gusto meals, which are nice and balanced. I make sure I pick ones with lots of protein and some veggies. And I've been eating protein yogurt and fruit for breakfast as well. But it's more the days where I do feel like rubbish. Like that day, that Sunday, what did I eat? I ate corn chicken nuggets, like the veggie chicken nuggets, and potato smileys. Because about all I could face was throwing something on a baking tray and putting it in the oven. So I'd like to make sure that I'm focusing on nutrition every day, even the days where I feel pants. I'm off to get ready for work. Thankfully, today it's a late shift, so I wasn't up at the crack of dawn after the wedding. I'm off to gently scrape this hair back into a bun, and I will see you next time. Whatever you're up to, keep up the good work. Bye. I see a light, and we can